About 78% of what's hanging in your drying room right now is water. And if you're like most growers, you're planning to track every gram of it by snapping a twig and listening for a crack. Months of feeding, training, and defoliating. An entire season of work. And the final call comes down to a party trick your fingers do. Today we're replacing that trick with a number, a cheap gram scale, a notebook, and about 30 seconds a day will tell you more about your dry than your thumbs ever could. Let's start with why the snap test fails, because it isn't just imprecise. It's measuring the wrong thing entirely. When you bend a stem, you're testing the moisture in woody stem tissue, not in the flower you actually care about. Stems and buds dry at completely different rates. The thick stems near the stalk hold water long after the flower around them has passed its window, which is why a fat branch can still bend like a green sapling while the buds on it are already turning crispy, and the test drifts with everything around it. On a humid morning, that same stem flexes. In a dry afternoon, it cracks. Your fingers aren't calibrated, your ears aren't calibrated, and the tissue you're testing isn't even the tissue you keep. Even commercial growers who still use the snap treat it as a rough cross-check. Nobody serious calls an endpoint off it alone. So what are we actually trying to hit? There's a real published target, and it's tighter than most people think. The standards, body, ASTM, the same organization that writes testing standards for steel and for baby cribs, publishes a specification for dried flower, and it defines done as a water activity between 0.55 and 0.65. Water activity is the fraction of the remaining water that's free and available, and it's the number that matters for safety. Go above 0.65, and you're holding enough free water for mold, including aspergillus, to wake up and grow. Drop below 0.55 and the damage runs the other way. Trichome stalks turn brittle and snap off, volatile terpenes evaporate faster, and none of it comes back. You can rehydrate over-dried flower and make it feel better, but the aroma you lost is gone. The window is narrow, it has a floor and a ceiling, and a twig can't see either one. If that's already more useful than the forum advice you grew up on, the subscribe button is right there. Here's what a gram scale sees that your fingers can't. From the moment you cut the plant, essentially nothing leaves that room except water vapor. The cell walls, the sugars, the minerals, the cannabinoids, the solid material barely changes mass over a week of drying, so every single gram your harvest loses on the scale is a gram of water. Full stop. That turns drying from a guessing game into a subtraction problem. You're not interpreting a texture. You're watching the actual variable, water, walk out the door, one reading at a time. And unlike the twig, the scale is measuring the flower itself. The arithmetic takes one baseline and one target. The moment your plants come down, weigh them. The whole harvest if you dry on hanging scales, or a few tagged samples if you don't, and we'll come back to how to pick those. That wet weight is your anchor. Freshly harvested flower runs roughly 75 to 80% water. Your destination is around 10 to 12% moisture, which lands you inside that water activity window. Run those two numbers through the math and the answer comes out surprisingly consistent. Properly dried flower ends up at roughly 20 to 26% of its wet weight. Call it 1/4. If 1,000 grams goes up, somewhere around 240 to 250 grams of finished flower comes down, and the missing 3/4 was water the whole time. Watching your daily readings descend toward that quarter weight line is the entire method. Now, before you fall in love with the decimals, here's the part the precision crowd gets wrong. And yes, we're about to bust the quantitative version of this myth too. You'll see people claim you can calculate the exact water remaining in your buds down to the milligram. You cannot, and the reason is simple. That quarter weight target assumes you know exactly what fraction of your fresh plant was solid material, and you don't. Dry matter varies by cultivar. It varies with how wet your final week of feeding ran, and it varies enormously with trimming. A wet trimmed bud and a whole branch with stems attached can land at final weights a factor of 2 apart, purely because of what's sitting on the scale. A true milligram balance physically can't even hold a branch. Those instruments max out around 20 grams. A basic scale reading to a tenth of a gram is the right tool for this job. So be honest about what the number gives you. The scale gives you the trajectory, where you are on the curve and how fast you're moving. It does not hand you a certified endpoint. False precision is just folklore wearing a lab coat, and the curve itself has a shape you need to expect, because it will fool you if you don't. Drying plant material is not linear. The first day or two, water leaves fast. That's free surface water and moisture from the outer tissue, and it's common to watch a huge share of the total loss happen almost immediately. Then physics changes gears. The water that's left sits deeper in the bud, and it has to diffuse outward through tissue before it can evaporate, so the daily losses shrink and shrink again. Drying scientists call this the falling rate period, and it's why the last stretch of every dry feels like it's crawling. That crawl is information. When your daily loss flattens toward nothing right as you approach quarter weight, the free water is nearly spent, and that flattening, not a cracking sound, is your first genuine signal that you're close. Quick pause. If this channel saves your harvest even once, the membership pays for itself about 100 times over. It's 99 cents a month. You get every new video early before the public does, plus a set of special emojis for the comment section. That's it. 99 cents, early access, fancy emojis. If you'd rather support myth busting than bro science, the join button is below. Okay, back to the data. The other half of doing this, all right, is choosing what goes on the scale, because a careless sample quietly rebuilds the snap test mistake. If you weigh whole branches, a big share of your reading is stem, and stems, remember, hold disproportionate water and release it slower than flower. A branch-heavy sample keeps losing weight after your buds are already done, and if you wait for it, you overdry the part you actually keep. So weigh what you keep. Use trimmed buds, or at minimum, snip a few representative flowers off the stem as your indicator samples. Tag 3 or 4 of them from different spots in the room. Top shelf, bottom shelf, near the door, far corner. Every drying space has microclimates. Weigh them at the same time every day, write the numbers down, and treat the average as your curve. 30 seconds a day. That's the entire cost of replacing folklore with data. Now let's talk terpenes, because this is where the quantitative crowd overcorrects in the other direction. The claim you'll hear is that rapid water loss itself destroys your monoterpenes. The loss is absolutely real. Ross and El Soli measured it back in 1996, and the numbers are brutal. About 31% of total terpene content gone after air drying and 1 week of storage. Roughly 45% at 1 month. Over half at 3 months, with the light monoterpenes leading the exodus. And a 2021 drying study found that flower dried at ambient temperature kept about 82% of its terpenes, while cranking the dryer to 90 degrees Celsius kept barely 30. But look at what those experiments actually varied. Temperature, airflow, exposure, time. Terpenes leave by evaporation, and evaporation is driven by heat and moving air, not by the act of water leaving. Fast drying loses more terpenes because fast drying is usually hot, windy drying. A slow dry in a hot room would still bleed aroma. Blame the heat, not the water. This is exactly why the scale earns its keep as a steering instrument. Your daily numbers tell you the pace, and pace is the thing you can actually control. If you're plummeting toward quarter weight in 3 or 4 days, your room is too aggressive. Drop the temperature towards 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Bring relative humidity up toward the high 50s or low 60s and get direct airflow off the flower so air moves around the room instead of across the buds. If day 10 arrives and you've barely moved, nudge the humidity down a few points. One honest caveat: nobody has published a validated target for exactly what percentage you should lose per day, and anyone quoting one invented it. What the evidence supports is the destination and the ballpark duration. Most quality dries land in the 7 to 14 day range, dense flowers sometimes longer, and your curve tells you whether you're on schedule. By the way, if there's a piece of grow room folklore you want run through the same treatment, drop it in the comments. Half these episodes start there. So, how do you actually call it done? Watch for the convergence. Your samples are sitting near that 20 to 26% zone, and the daily loss has flattened to almost nothing. That's the scale telling you the free water is spent. Then confirm it. If you're commercial or you just want the real answer, a water activity meter is the instrument the testing labs and that ASTM standard are built around. One reading tells you whether you're inside 0.55 to 0.65. No interpretation required. If that's outside your budget, there's a proxy that costs almost nothing. Seal a sample in a jar with a small hygrometer for a day. The relative humidity it settles at tracks water activity, and an equilibrium reading around 55 to 62% means you're in the window. Scale for the trajectory. Water activity for the verdict. That's the whole system. And once you're in the window, the job changes from removing water to keeping it into sealed containers where the remaining moisture equalizes. Drier outer layers and moisture cores level out over a few days, which is why jarred flower feels different a week in. But let's be precise about what a cure is, because we covered this recently and it bears repeating. A cure is not an enzymatic flavor factory, and there is no magical moisture percentage where beneficial enzymes switch on and start building aroma. The published post-harvest science treats enzyme activity as something drying suppresses, not something you optimize. And the claim floating around that the final 5% of moisture loss is some uniquely dangerous enzymatic window appears in exactly 0 studies. It's invented precision. A good cure slows your losses and evens your moisture. The flavor you jar is the flavor you kept. Step back and look at what the scale actually bought you. Repeatability, because next harvest you're not reguessing, you're comparing curves. Early warning, because a curve that stalls high is flashing a mold risk at you days before your nose would catch it. And a real endpoint, a number with a floor and a ceiling instead of a sound. The snap test isn't evil. It's the wrong instrument reading the wrong tissue, and it survived this long because nobody bothered to weigh the alternative. A $20 scale and a notebook beat calibrated knuckles every single time. Your next harvest comes down on a schedule you can see coming, and the one after that gets easier, because now you have data. Peace.